Hello everyone, welcome to Uncle Iroh's Tea Shop. In today's video, we are going to discuss and break down everything that Season 2 of Netflix's live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender adaptation needs to do in order to be successful. Grab some jasmine tea, take a seat, and enjoy the video. If you are looking forward to Season 2, give this video a like and drop your comments down below on what you are looking forward to seeing the most for this upcoming season. So let's not waste any time and jump right into it. So it was confirmed not that long ago by Netflix that we were going to be getting a Season 2 and Season 3 of the Netflix version of Avatar: The Last Airbender, which would round out the rest of the series in terms of what it was going to be adapting from in the original cartoon. The big question everybody's going to be asking is, what are they going to be doing for Season 2, as this is where a good chunk of the main storyline is going to be kicking off? What characters are they going to bring in and adapt, as well as certain storylines inside of it? We are going to break it down and run through each of these topics. I actually wanted to start off with something interesting and different, and that is around what I would love to see the first trailer be for Season 2. As somebody who has come into video editing recently in the past couple of years and has a love for trailer marketing, I could lend an idea to Netflix if they see this video. Basically, you will make a teaser of sorts where you show a sneak peek to some scenes of our characters throughout the season like a normal teaser would. The catch here though is that you would put a nice and touching musical jingle to it. That musical jingle is a rendition of Leaves from the Vine. Not only does it tie in with Season 2, but it would definitely get the emotions going for a teaser, given it is one of the most emotional beats of the entire series. As you get to the end of the trailer, you add in some drum effects for suspense to get to the end, and then when you do get to the end of the teaser trailer, you'd end it off with a perfect ending, showing off the first glimpse of Toph in live action footage. That'll get fans really excited. Again, Netflix, if you're watching this, contact me and I'll let you use my idea. But anyways, to move on now for the actual important stuff. One of the first big main points I want to bring up is the idea around the episodes and how many we could see. One of Season 1's biggest criticisms that I've seen is that people wished that it might have been a little longer in terms of how many episodes it was. For example, maybe 10 episodes instead of 8. I personally would like to see Season 2 adapt that idea to make it 10 episodes, or 12 if we're talking about a maximum number. I think that this would allow the story to breathe a lot more as opposed to how it was done in Season 1. Something a lot of people are not going to think about as well to this point is that Book 2 in the original cartoon was 2 episodes shorter. On top of that, you also have some episodes that could definitely mix together here. A good idea I have in mind is that you could mix together the tales of Ba Sing Se with the beginning of when our gang and Zuko and Iroh first arrive into the city. I think that these are all major things that must be taken into consideration when making Season 2, and again, I think that 10 episodes or 12 at the max would be something a lot of people would be looking forward to. In terms of which episodes and storylines I would like to see be adapted, I think there are plenty to look at here for the live action show. I think the beginning of the season would be a little different considering Season 1 already adapted the Cave of Two Lovers. You could definitely start with the Avatar state, which was episode 1 from Season 2 in the cartoon, and that would be a good way for us to finally see Aang waterbending and practicing it. Take that beginning of the original cartoon with Cave of the Two Lovers and just put that into episode 1. It was already set up at the very end of Season 1 that they were going to be potentially going back to Omashu to see Bumi for earthbending training. I think that we should see that, and at the same time, it would be an introduction to seeing the gang go up against Azula and the girls for the first time in live action. Some people might not like to hear this, but I have a feeling that the Swamp and Avatar Day episodes from the cartoon are probably not going to be adapted, as not only is Avatar Day a filler episode, but we've already seen some of the stuff from that episode in the cartoon translated into Season 1 with Kyoshi. We saw stuff from the Swamp be translated as well in episode 5 when they went into the spirit world, but I do wonder if that means we are not going to get an adaptation of the Swamp people either, so we'll have to just wait and see. Once we get past all that stuff that does start the original Book 2 story, I feel like a lot of what comes after this is going to be very important for the rest of the season. I definitely think that you have to see the episodes around Zuko and Iroh being on their own. We've got to see the chase down between Azula and the girls and the main gang. Of course, it doesn't go without saying, but we also have to see all the stuff around Toph being introduced into our core group. All these storylines connect with each other in some way as well in each episode, as we lead up to everyone eventually going to Ba Sing Se. For those wondering, I already did a separate video on the whole thing around the storyline of Wan Chi Tong and the library, and I will have that up in the cards above for you to go watch to get my opinion on what they'll end up doing with that. Something else I think that people might be a little disappointed to hear me say is that I also believe that we are not going to get the arc of Appa's lost days. I think, given the fact that it was already apparent in Season 1 that they did not utilize Appa and Momo heavily, that mainly does come down to the fact that they are budgetary issues to the show because of its live-action nature. Having either one of those two characters on screen for a good amount of time is going to eat up the budget, specifically with the CGI. I just don't think that that is something Netflix is going to let go through. Like I said already, I also think that it would be reasonable to mix in Tales of Ba Sing Se with other episodes and what they do. Everything regarding seeing the Earth King, Lake Laogai, and the Dai Li. Of course, it doesn't go without saying, but we are going to have to see the two-part finale like it was in the cartoon with all our characters coming together to fight. I think the Guru stuff is also quite important in that finale, as it sets up so much of the world building and lore of the world of Avatar and what it means to be the Avatar. Definitely do not leave all that stuff out. Regarding the characters of Season 2, you will know the main one that's going to have to show up is of course our girl Toph. Not adapting Toph into this show, safe to say, is maybe going to be the biggest mistake this show could possibly make, and I have no worries as I do believe they are going to bring her in as she is a part of that main core group of characters. Toph is also very essential in that she will be training Aang in the ways of earthbending, and her chemistry is something else that I'm also looking forward to seeing it play out with regards to the other three members of our core group. Her humor and wittiness is something that I hope that they do adapt upon with regards to her characteristics, but the main thing about her that I would absolutely love to see being nailed down is the earthbending in action, given the fact that she is blind. She utilizes one of the coolest aspects of the original cartoon with regards to bending with her seismic sense. It is a sub-skill of her earthbending moves that allows her to detect vibrations in the ground with the environment around her. Please, Netflix, if there is one thing about that character that you should adapt, it is that. Other than that, when talking characters, most others that haven't been revealed yet are more on the side or have a minimal central role in the storyline of the season. Some of these characters include the Swamp People, as I mentioned already, the Rough Rhino Gang, all the major competitors including the Boulder, for example, from the earthbending competition that Toph is a part of. You have the Traveler that our gang comes across that wants to learn so much more about the knowledge that's hidden away in the Spirit Library, Wan Shi Tong, the Sand People, the Serpent in Serpent's Pass, the Dai Li, Long Fang, the girl that Zuko goes out with in Tales of Ba Sing Se, the Earth King, the Guru, and so on. I think you get the point of what I'm trying to get across here. There are a lot of side characters in Season 2, and I just wonder how much they are going to bring forward with that. Me personally, I have a feeling a lot of them are going to get adapted, but I do think that some probably won't. Most of the more vital side characters I think will be brought over, but if we are talking about the other very small side characters, you might not be seeing that stuff. I would personally like to see all those characters that I mentioned be adapted over, but at the end of the day, I'm still interested to see what the story is going to be like, given that they might play around with it a little bit like they did with Season 1. Of all those different characters that I just named off, which ones do you personally think should be adapted? Which ones do you think should not be adapted? And then also, which ones do you think are the most important to get down? I'm also curious to know which characters do you think are going to receive some of the treatments that a character like Lieutenant G did in Season 1, where he is a side character that in the cartoon did not get that much exploration, but in the live-action adaptation, he was actually given a lot more than he probably should have been given. I can only imagine that we might get more Ozai as well in this season. Again, he does not really play that prominent of a role until Book 3 in the cartoon, but I do think they are going to give him a little bit more to do here in this season as well. Those are really some of the more important things that Season 2 of the Netflix adaptation has to do in order to be successful, but I do think that there are a couple of other side things that I would like to address. I already mentioned something like episode count as a side thing that I think needs to be given great attention to. If Season 2 were to be given a budget bump up, I think that there would be some good usage of money towards the visual effects in some areas, particularly on green screen stuff or practical effects. I get that many places in this world have to be done visually, but I think that there is a fine line in making sure that a lot of it can maybe be done through the environmental aspects of the world that we live in. I think it is obviously different with locations that we go to like Ba Sing Se specifically, specifically. There is no more important location in the entirety of book 2 than that, and maybe the entire cartoon as a whole. We spend so much time there, and getting its look and feel down is very needed. I would also say that I think that the writing definitely needs to be a little tighter and more focused. I think that the middle portion of season 1 felt a little off for me, and that's mainly to do with the fact that they mixed together so many plot lines and stories and characters, and so I think if things can be a little tighter but also a little loose with how they mix together stuff, then we are looking good here. Season 2 is a lot more serious and darker than season 1 in the cartoon is, so I think most people should expect that we are going to get stuff along those lines instead of the more happy and jovial vibe that we got from the original cartoon. As it is, they are already going down that route anyway with this adaptation, and so again, I think we should expect that. I think some directing could be a little better as well from the directors of each episode, as I did feel like there was not as much good from the point of view of directing actors. I don't know many of the directors who did season 1, so I think it is best to make sure that the directing of actors is a little better this time around, especially with emotion from certain scenes. Other than that, unless I can't think of anything else, that's really all I wanted to talk about today with regards to what I believe is everything that season 2 of Netflix's adaptation for Avatar: The Last Airbender needs to do in order to be successful. I have no idea when to expect this season to come out, although my prediction right now is potentially either mid to late 2025 or early 2026. I wanted to make this video now because I think it will help anybody at Netflix who might be looking for people to give valid criticisms that might help them in making the show better. After all, they have said openly that they do want to see that from fans, and again, as long as it's reasonable and fair, then that is all the better. With regards to everything else I talked about in this video, be sure to drop your comments down below about everything we discussed and my commentary on it. If you did enjoy the video and you are looking forward to season 2, give this video a like and let's see if we can hit a goal of 200 likes on this one. If you are new to this channel, be sure to subscribe and turn on that notification bell to be updated for when I do upload again in the future. Thank you all so much for stopping by Uncle Iroh's Tea Shop. On your way out, be sure to let him know how much you appreciate his jasmine tea and his words of wisdom that come with it. I hope everyone here has a wonderful rest of the day, and I will see you all soon for more Avatar.